Coming up next on This Week in Torrance.
Domestic abuse is a worldwide problem, and one Torrance woman is sharing her painful past to help others move forward.
Plus, local artists raise money to help orphans living halfway around the world. We'll tell you how.
And thousands of children in Southern California's foster care system wait eagerly, hoping today will be the day a loving family takes them home. Well, a recent event in Torrance is hoping to recruit more families to do just that. Christy Wilcox tells us all about it.
And Halloween is just around the corner, and if you're looking to make an impression this year, we'll take you to a place where they custom make your order. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. With the enrollment of the Affordable Care Act in full swing, confusion over health care reform is creating a new kind of problem. Scammers are now taking advantage of confused Americans looking to enroll in health care by gaining access to personal information and money. The most common scam to surface is the Obamacare insurance card ploy, where someone will call claiming to be a part of the federal government. Callers inform victims that they are selected to be the first to receive insurance cards and request personal information such as Social Security numbers. Another similar scam is one offering to help sign up people for health care insurance in order to avoid penalties and even jail time. Here are some simple tips to avoid the scam. Government agencies won't contact you directly via email or text, including people looking to scam others out of money and personal information.
Speaking of scams, Southern California Edison is warning residents to be on the lookout for billing scams. Edison says over the past year, more than 2,000 customers have complained about getting calls from scammers who say their bill is overdue. The company, who is fighting back, says that about 300 people have reported being victimized. It's estimated they have paid out about $225,000. Business customers have been hit the hardest. One Torrance businessman sent a MoneyGram in the amount of $1,300 after receiving a call that he was behind on his bill. He didn't realize it was a scam until he got the real bill from Edison claiming his bill was still unpaid. Edison says if it feels like a scam or if you feel like there is something wrong, hang up and call Edison directly. For more scam prevention tips, go to sce.com.
The Torrance Police Department is asking for your help in identifying a man who tried to force a 16-year-old girl into his car after spotting the teen leave North Torrance High. This happened on October 16th about 7 a.m. The man driving a newer model silver or gray four-door Honda blocked the teen's path while she was attempting to use the crosswalk by 177th Street and Crenshaw Boulevard. The teen ignored him and kept walking, but the man continued to follow her, even offering money to get in his car. He is described as a white male in his late 30s with a medium build, dark hair, and dark eyes. The victim says the driver took off after she met up with a male friend. Police are unsure of the man's intentions and released a child annoy bulletin. If you have any information, you can call detectives at the Torrance Police Department. That's 310-618-5580.
The Torrance Unified School District Board elections are taking place on November 5th, and recently candidates had the chance to appeal to the community at 3 different forums. 4 candidates are competing for 3 open seats on the TUSD School Board, 3 of which are incumbents. Now, while most of the candidates are in favor of getting voters to approve another bond measure to help improve facilities, the biggest disagreement was their view on parent fundraising. To learn more about each of the candidates, go to smartvoter.org.
Well, if you are looking to strike it rich, some say you may want to play the Mega Millions lottery as officials announce they're upping the ante. Players will have a chance to win bigger cash prizes and will also have more numbers to pick from. Beginning this week, there will be 75 numbers to choose from, and the minimum jackpot will increase by $5 million, making it a $15 million minimum payout. California Lotto officials say the new matrix will give players a 1 in 15 chance to win a prize, although some say having more numbers means it will be harder to win the top prize. Officials hope the changes will create more interest, just like the Powerball Lotto.
The city of Torrance is planning to break ground as early as November to create space for a $3.2 million sports field. The new space will be located on Maple Avenue near the Torrance Courthouse. City Council voted unanimously to fund the artificial turf project with an open space acquisition fund while defunding a similar project that would have built two grass multi-purpose fields. Now, staff noted that the price for the two grass fields was $500,000 more than originally estimated, and the turf field would have lower maintenance. City officials hope the project, which is scheduled to be completed by February 2014, will bring in $200,000 of yearly rental revenue.
South Bay authorities will participate in National Prescription Drug Take Back Day, a campaign to collect unneeded medications and properly dispose of them. The Drug Enforcement Administration says that most prescription drug misuse comes from medication left in cabinets that is taken by friends, children, or family members. Drugs do not have to be in original containers. However, police will not accept illegal drugs, needles, injectables, or intravenous drugs. Last year during the campaign, Americans dropped off more than 742,000 pounds of prescription drugs at more than 5,800 locations. You can drop off your medications free and anonymously from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, October 26th at the Torrance Police Department, as well as other designated areas in the South Bay.
Members of the City Council were back in session for their Tuesday night meeting. Here's an update on your community matters. The City of Torrance recognized October 24th as World Polio Day. Rotary Club spearheaded the global initiative to prevent polio in 1985. Since then, polio cases dropped by 99%. And October 26th is Make a Difference Day. The initiative helps people with serious social problems and invites community members to take part in a day of community service at the Madrona Marsh. The Skechers Friendship Walk will also take place and set a fundraising goal of $1 million. It is a peer-to-peer walk that benefits special needs children and education. Walkers make a round trip starting and ending at Manhattan Beach Pier. The council also proclaimed the week of October 20th through the 26th as National Save for Retirement Week. And City Council honored Jack Vanderlinden, who served 20 years in the Public Works Department. He started in 1993 as the Water Operations Administrator and retired this year as the Deputy Public Works Director. The Mayor and City Council acknowledged him for his years of service in Southern California. The council adjourned in memory of Ernest W. Jacobs, who passed away at the age of 87 on October 13th. He served as a corporal in World War II and later with the United States Navy. Jacobs held a degree in electrical engineering. He and his wife lived at the same Torrance residence for 48 years before moving to Rancho Palos Verdes in 2009. The couple were members of the Torrance Sister City Association for many years. He is survived by his wife, 3 children, and many grandchildren.
Simon Property Group, owners of the Del Amo Mall, is preparing to install new air conditioners on the roof of the mall. They won't be using cranes to do the install, but rather helicopters. The aircraft will do the heavy lifting early on November 3rd, which will help make the delivery shorter and more efficient than using cranes. Cranes would involve several days of work, while the helicopters will reduce work time, as well as reduce the impact of noise and traffic. The more energy-efficient units are part of a transformation that the Simon Company hopes will enhance the customer shopping experience. Still ahead, one Torrance boy captures a national title using just his hands.
Plus, a Torrance woman shares her story of domestic violence and the heartache she lived through in the hopes of helping others.
We were lucky. Before we were ever treated for breast cancer,
we planned for life after breast cancer. We made the choice
that breast cancer would not take something away from us.
No one chooses to get breast cancer. The only choice we have is how we will deal with it.
Cancer took my breasts, but my plastic surgeon gave them back.
Breast reconstruction made me feel like me again.
Before you're treated for breast cancer, get the facts. Women who are told about their breast reconstruction options report feeling in control and experiencing a higher quality of life after cancer.
I know because I am one of them.
I know because I am one of them.
I know because I am one of them.
Before you undergo surgery for breast cancer, get the facts. Make sure you know your breast reconstruction options. For more information, visit broaddayusa.org.
This is a great story. One Torrance boy with a unique talent recently walked away as a national champion. That's right, 15-year-old Alex Satori of South High has been practicing his yo-yo tricks since he was in the 6th grade. He then went on to take Saturday classes at the Sunshine Kite Company on the Redondo Beach Pier. And now, after more than 15 competitions, Satori has walked away with another trophy. Only this time he's been crowned the top double yo-yo player in the nation. And while he may look like any other teenage high schooler, Hattori has his own sponsor, his own trading cards, and a line of yo-yos. The event took place in Northern California, in Chico. While Hattori is in high school, the teachers and administration say they tolerate his yo-yoing on campus.
Great story. One family's hardship was transformed into hope for children halfway around the world. Reporter Haley Skeen went to a local church to meet a couple and their ambitious project.
Alex and Melanie Viana's life together has been a bit extraordinary from day one.
Our very first date was in St. Petersburg, Russia, because she was actually a missionary in Russia at the time.
It was unique.
Since their union, the couple has felt a calling to help those in need. And when they were expecting their first son, they used this blessing to bring attention to their newfound cause, building an orphanage in Mozambique, Africa.
But instead of our friends buying gifts, because we had the means to provide for our own, that we asked them to make a donation to help start this orphanage. That was something that was on our heart.
Tragically, the Vianas lost their first child before his birth. Rather than be consumed with grief, they pushed harder towards their goal. They made the same request, but this time it was a somber one.
We asked him not to spend money on flowers and other things at his memorial service, and we asked them to give towards helping start this orphanage.
The Melanie Center in Mozambique, Africa is run like a family of about 15. Aside from providing the basic human needs of food and shelter, the Melanie Center has its own school.
Education is really a real key to getting out of that deep-rooted poverty.
And the Vianas aren't finished yet. They've started a second orphanage about 5 miles from the first. To help complete this project, 6 artists at the Vianas Church, Life Covenant in Torrance, were eager to donate their work. Over 100 people came out to bid on their favorite pieces, most of which were painted during church services.
It's seeing somebody's heart come out on a piece of paper, and you actually see what it feels like.
And while working to help orphans find a place to call home, the Vianas were inspired to practice what they preach.
We were given the opportunity to go ahead and adopt these 2 boys from Ethiopia who are twins.
The Vianas' role as parents extend to the children in Mozambique as well.
We have hopes and dreams of them not only being able to get an education, but actually being able to be men and women of influence in their country.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Haley Skeen.
Thanks, Haley. The Art for Mo's auction raised more than $17,000 for the Melanie Center. If you'd like to contribute, check out their website, lifeformos.com.
City Council member Pat Fury recently held a foster care awareness event for the community and hopes more children have the opportunity to find a loving home. Christy Wilcox has the story.
And that couple adopted him.
Educating one family can mean getting others to step up at the best and worst times. And Share Your Heart LA has one mission: give a child a home.
There was one couple who went back to their church and it multiplied, and we wound up getting about 22 to 24 people who are actually interested in foster care.
And Council member Fury says 24 families still isn't enough, so he hopes this event gets more potential families to come knocking.
I've been prosecuting child abuse for the last 2 decades. There were 145 children removed in the previous year, just in the city of Torrance. So the mathematics still doesn't work out 100%.
That means too many children and not enough families. According to the National Welfare website, the number of children in foster care reduced by 150,000 in the last 10 years. Even with the reduction, change is uncertain, and Fury says you can't have too much of a good thing.
If we have too many people who are available to provide foster care, or adoptive care, or resource parenting for these children who are removed from their parents for whatever reason, that's the benefit, and that's what we're looking for.
Whether it be foster or adoptive care, there was no lack of heartwarming stories. And one foster parent says knowing more can make the difference.
Every child comes with their own set of unique problems. Every child that comes through the system comes from a family. The family may be dysfunctional, but there are no dysfunctional children. There are dysfunctional adults in charge of children.
Reporting for This Week in Torrance, I'm Christy Wilcox.
Thank you, Christy. For more information on fostering or adopting a child, go to lacdcfs.org.
According to the National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men aged 18 and older have been a victim of physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Reporter Faith Lee met one woman who's using her own struggle with domestic violence to help change the lives of others.
Diane Klein got married at the age of 23, and in her mind, her story was going to end happily ever after.
And I was really excited. I had all the ideal you have about marriage, thinking, you're going to be the perfect couple. It's going to last forever.
But it didn't last forever.
It started out with the questioning, the interrogation, and then later on, it started physical.
For 5 years, Klein was physically and emotionally abused by her ex-husband.
I got hit in the face. I got hit in the arm. I got grabbed, pushed, shoved.
And like many victims, she never told anyone what was going on at home.
I considered myself a person that would never put up with something like that. And here I was doing that. And the shame was so great that I thought, how could I ever tell people that care about me that I'm actually going through this and I'm here and I can't seem to leave.
Now 40 years later, Klein is an advocate for women's safety and rights, hoping that by sharing her story, other women will see that there's a way out.
It is something you never get over. I might smile as I'm talking about it, but it's not what I feel. It is something I would never want anyone to go through.
In many domestic violence cases, victims don't think there is a way out. They feel trapped, hopeless, and isolated. But there are avenues of help in the community.
There are resources out there. There are shelters. We have shelters in this area. We have a couple in Torrance. We have in Long Beach. We have in Hermosa Beach.
And Klein plans to be one of those resources. She's now studying for the National Marital and Family Therapy Examination to become a therapist.
Because it's something I've always wanted to do, and I loved it. I love this field.
She also facilitated a domestic violence support group for a local women's shelter.
It was very rewarding, and actually in that group, the women got to see they're not alone.
While Klein works on empowering other women and victims, she's also busy rewriting her own story, the one where she can create a much happier ending.
When you finally leave, it is the most exhilarating feeling that you're free. Nobody can hurt you ever again.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Faith Lee.
According to the United States Office of Violence Against Women, domestic violence is the leading cause of injury to women. If you or someone you know would like more information, call 1-800-799-7233.
Torrance Memorial Medical Center is about more than just physical health. The foundation hosted its final seminar of the year, treating nearly 100 community members to tips on financial health. Reporter Haley Skeen has more.
Anita Solomon has a pretty good reason to stay on top of her family's finances.
So every time I look at the stock market, if it goes up, I go shopping.
Over 50 years of marriage, Anita and her husband Barry have learned the importance of staying money savvy.
We make sure that each of us knows everything there is to know about our financial affairs and our medical affairs as well.
The Solomons take advantage of a great local resource. They're regular attendees at the monthly financial planning workshops at Torrance Memorial Medical Center.
Our goal is education, and we really want people to get a little taste of something that will encourage them to find it their own qualified professional.
And although the Solomons are pretty well informed, they learned a few things at the day's seminar.
The money I was going to put aside for my grandchildren's college, I'm thinking twice about that because this is money I might have to live on.
The Solomons joined nearly 100 people who attended this financial and estate planning seminar. Attendees said the information was enlightening and empowering.
I've realized I need to take charge myself and really start to focus on it and get things in place now, regardless of a relationship or anything else that comes down the line.
Thanks to the knowledge they've gained from the financial professionals who donate their time to teach these workshops, the Solomons feel confident about their financial situation.
Well, we have good medical plan, our retirement is good, and we have the boat ready in the garage.
And according to the Solomons, there's always more to learn. They'll be back in January for the next series of financial planning tips. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Haley Skeen.
Thanks, Haley. For more information about upcoming workshops, contact the Torrance Memorial Center Foundation Office at 310-517-4703. January's topic will focus on charitable giving and tax planning.
There is a talented group of people teaching kids an entirely new way to be creative. And Faith Lee got the chance to stop by and take a peek as they made a visit to Edison Elementary School.
It is definitely a morning filled with energy and laughter at the Edison Elementary School.
Good morning, Edison!
And it isn't just the kids who are excited. These are the Story Pirates, a group of teaching artists, actors, and comedians. Actor and producer Connor White is one of the masterminds who is helping to turn these wild thoughts into real life.
And I always say I get to quit the gym because I do Story Pirates, because I like to bring as much energy as I possibly can and really give them a mind-blowing experience that's unlike any assembly they've ever had before.
The Pirates brainstorm ideas with the kids, show them how to form a complete story by acting out their ideas on the spot.
Every kid gets to have a little bit of the story. Every idea is taken from a different student.
First part of the story, that there was Jonathan the mango, who liked to eat other mangoes and popcorn, and he meets this dragon who wants to eat him, but then Jonathan hides.
Who are you?
My name is Jonathan the mango, please do not eat me! And then suddenly a zucchini comes this time, and then sucks in the dragon somehow.
And while it's unusual, these wild ideas are exactly the key to the best story.
We tell the kids at Story Pirates they have permission to be weird, right? We want to make sure that every idea, no matter how strange, is put down on the paper, and that usually results in a funnier story than any adult could ever come up with.
Well, it's obvious that the kids agree with him. The story ends with the happy ending, and these students walk out with more than just giggles and fun. It was a lesson well taught, and their young minds are ready to blossom.
I like it because they're really funny, and I got to use my imagination. I never thought I would say a zucchini ate a dragon before.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Faith Lee.
Thanks, Faith. The 4th and 5th graders will now begin to write their very own stories in class, and the Story Pirates will select a few ideas to perform on their show at the Armstrong Theater in January. For tickets or for more information, go to torrancearts.org. Halloween is just days away, and recent research showed crime rates do tend to increase slightly on this holiday compared to any other night. Well, much of it is due to pranks, parties, and pumpkin smashing. And depending on where you live, studies also showed a bump in serious crimes such as intoxicated driving, vandalism, and burglary. CitiCable's Haley Skeen is with Sergeant Chris Rusin of the Torrance Police Department to get some Halloween safety tips. Haley?
Hi, Jen. I'm here at Sharon Lane, a popular trick-or-treating spot with Sergeant Chris Rusin of the Torrance Police Department. Sergeant, can you give us a couple of tips that people need to be aware of during the holiday?
Absolutely. What the Torrance Police Department recommends is that all children trick-or-treat in groups. It would be nice to have an adult supervise them as they do. We'd also like them to trick-or-treat in areas that they're familiar with. And as for adults, if trick-or-treaters bring candy home, let's make sure that we inspect the candy. We don't want them to eat any kind of candy that has not been inspected or that looks like they've been tampered with. In regards to the people that are accepting trick-or-treaters, just make sure that their house is just well lit.
Thanks so much, Sergeant. Easy ways to have a safe Halloween. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Haley. Great tips for a safe Halloween night.
Pedestrians caught jaywalking will soon face hefty fines now as Torrance Police announced a new zero-tolerance rule. This means jaywalkers will no longer get warnings, but rather slapped with a fine of about $200 on their first offense. The decision came after jaywalkers caused multiple traffic accidents in late September and early October. During these separate incidents, one man in a wheelchair who was struck by a car was left in critical condition, while 2 other women were killed while crossing the street outside designated crosswalk areas. Authorities say these types of accidents cause roadway closures and several hours of police investigation. Well, we've got some great events for you, so get out your pen and paper or your smartphone and start taking notes. If you've carved your pumpkin for the Halloween holiday, you might also be interested in this local event. The City of Torrance Community Services Department will hold their annual Halloween Carnival at Wilson Park on Thursday, October 31st from 4 to 8 p.m. The festival will feature carnival games, crafts, face painting, and spooky music by DJ Ozzy. There will also be a costume party at 6:30 p.m. for the family to enjoy. Then the Torrance Sister City Association is looking to select cultural ambassadors to serve in the Student Cultural Exchange Program. Applicants who apply by Thursday, December 19th are accepted to the program, will get to represent American youth in Kashiwa, Japan for 3 weeks next July. Exchange students will visit Tokyo, gain an understanding of Japanese customs, and make lifelong friends in the exchange program. If you know an ideal candidate, contact Torrance Community Services Department at 310-618-2930 or go to torrancesistercity.org.
Now let's go out to Juan Hernandez at the sports desk for a preview of the upcoming show.
Juan, what do you have for us?
Hi, Jin and Ben. Great to see you both. I am fresh off a visit with some of the loudest fans in LA. The Galaxy invites the City of Torrance out for a fan appreciation night, and let me tell you, it was a good time. You want to see my evening with the Galaxy and their fans? Well, just watch the show, of course. Same old time, same old place. I never go anywhere. I'm always here for you guys here on CitiCABLE 3 at 4 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. Best part, every day. You can't beat that. We'll see you there.
Thanks, Juan. Now, Halloween is just days away, and if you're still on the lookout for a unique, one-of-a-kind costume, you're in luck. Faith Lee tells us more.
Trying on costume samples is only the beginning of the creative process at Heritage Costumes.
I think this would work, but I think with elastic, it won't. This would bug me.
This is not your typical party store. It's a shop that has thousands of costumes, all made in the heart of Torrance.
Everything is sewn here. We don't outsource any of our sewing. It's all done right here in this little shop.
The store might seem little, but inside there's an incredible variety of costumes available for purchase.
From the cutting of pattern and the fabric all the way to the seamstresses to the whole finished product of the costume.
All done in downtown Torrance with only a handful of employees.
We have one pattern and fabric cutter. We have about 4 seamstresses. Then we have, me and Bella packing orders essentially, and sometimes Kathy.
Although the store receives over 100 orders a day during the Halloween season, the team makes sure your costume is ready when you need it.
And everything is quality. When you're spending that much money on a costume, you want to be sure that what you're getting is what you're paying for, and that is true with our costumes.
From designing to sewing to packing the costume, it's more fun than it is work for these employees.
It feels really good, especially when Fritz and I come up with ideas and we come up with the conception of it. It's really like taking a character and actually bringing it out.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Faith Lee.
Thanks, Faith. Heritage Costumes is offering a 10% discount when you mention Torrance CitiCABLE with your order. For more information, go to heritagecostumes.com. Well, that's it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Be sure to like our page to get the latest updates on what's going on in Torrance.
That's facebook.com/This Week in Torrance TV. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.